I was thinking, how can we be celebrating that people are still in debt 30 years later? That feels a bit wrong to me.
Yeah.
Most people that we're helping are paying over 30% interest on their debt. And then when we help them, the interest rate comes down straight away. So that's money back in families' pockets. And then if they do the work around financial education, that's extra money back in their pocket, and the debt-free date comes closer.
Struggling with debt? Then this episode is a must-watch. Sasha Lockley and Money Sweetspot are rewriting what it means to get out of debt. Her journey is about turning struggle into strategy and making sure people aren't just surviving, but thriving. In this episode, Sasha shares her journey of grit, growth, and giving back.
If you provide a place for people to breathe and you support them, then they're able to create their own goals. It's not about us telling anybody. It's like give space and give support, because I think sometimes we believe in the people we help before they believe in themselves.
This podcast is brought to you by Ethos Mortgages. If you're looking to buy your first home, next home, or even an investment property, make sure you reach out to Ethos Mortgages at ethosmortgages.co.nz. We'll have a link below as well. Just a quick note, this podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. If you need financial advice, please make sure you contact a financial advisor to get professional advice.
In the world to get out of debt, that's our goal, because debt's debilitating and horrible. So we started 2 years ago with the sole mission of helping people out of debt, and at the same time rewarding people for doing financial education. So if you learn more about money, you get more money off your loan.
Oh,
cool, eh?
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And tell me a bit about how did this come about?
Oh, how did it come about?
I want to go deeper.
We're going deep, are we?
Yeah.
Is this like deep now?
A little teaser now, and then we'll go deeper later.
Teaser.
Yeah.
Righto. How I got into it was I was in a job in the traditional system.
Yeah.
At a large non-bank lender here.
Gotcha.
And every day I saw people kind of, we used to celebrate keeping customers, you know, and we'd still got customer number one, and this business had been around nearly 30 years. And I was thinking, how can we be celebrating that people are still in debt 30 years later? Like, that feels a bit wrong to me.
Yeah.
And then I was, and then bad things would happen for people, our customers, like lose a job or couldn't pay their loan. And it was all about how to get the loan repaid. Like it was all about the money and the transaction all the time. And I was like, hang on, these people have had a bad thing happen, but all we're bothered about is the money.
Is like getting that back, getting
it back.
Rid of our...
So they've now become bad people. And they're not bad people. They're just good people that had a bad thing happen.
Yeah.
And any of us can have bad things happen. So I didn't like that. And once I realised that, I kind of was trying to figure out, well, what could a different type of lender be?
Yeah.
And then, one day I had an epiphany that I decided that I couldn't be in this well-paying job anymore, and I had to try and change the system. I never wanted to try and change a bloody finance system. It was never my goal. I was like, and
you had epiphany that you didn't want to be highly paid anymore.
Well, no, well, I know. I could my mum passed 10 years ago, and I can imagine her from up there going, "You're doing what? You're leaving the well-paying job? Are you mad?" I could just imagine her like, "Are you an idiot?
What?
You're crazy." But I was like, once you know, it's like once you've seen things, you can't see them. And once I saw them, I thought, I can't. Like, I have to try and figure out a different way. I have to do something. And that was back in, I think it was about October 2019.
Yeah, cool. Wow. Yeah.
And left my job in March 2020. Great time to leave a well-paying job when a pandemic hits. Bloody awesome timing.
Dang. So it's been 6 years now.
Is it?
Yeah, well, 2025. Yeah, almost 6 years.
It's mad.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's mad.
Wow. And how many people have you helped get out of debt or start the journey?
Start the journey.
Yeah, get out of debt.
What are we sat at the moment? I think it's about 730 families with $70 million worth of high-cost debt.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, and then there's another...
That is epic.
Yeah? It is, eh?
It is. Like, because the actual cost to society, the cost that they don't have to pay is you compound those numbers. Like, I'm doing the math in my head, which isn't that great, but I'm still doing it. But that's a lot of money.
Well, it is, because most people that we're helping are paying over 30% interest on their debt because they're seen as high risk. So, and then when we help them, the interest rate comes down straight away. So that's money back in families' pockets straight away. And then if they do the work around financial education, that's extra money back in their pocket, and their debt-free date comes closer. So even in this cycle, this economic cycle, we've helped people into their first homes because they've been able to tidy up all of that juggly, gross credit card, second-tier lendy type interest rate personal loans. So
which is at around what, 20% or
higher.
more? Is it more?
More, 26.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So it's been awesome, and it was a complete experiment because I had this premise that people are good and bad things happen, but nobody in the world had ever linked a loan with education ever, which seems so stupid, right?
Sounds
why would you not? Cool, give people a loan, but help them pay it off and support them to not need you anymore. Commercially, I guess, you lose money by doing that, but it's still the right thing to do. Yeah. And it's still a good business. We're not a charity.
That's right. Yeah, cool. Awesome. I want to come back. We're going to deep dive into that a bit later. But yeah, tell me a bit about whereabouts you're from, because it doesn't sound like
this isn't a Kiwi accent.
It's a Kiwi accent, but not quite. Not quite. Whereabouts are you from?
So I'm from the middle of England, in a place called Stafford. And I thought, because I'm a little bit, we were talking about my suntan earlier, I thought that maybe I'd got something exotic, way back in many generations. Yes. But my husband last year bought me one of those ancestry tests.
Oh, yep.
It turns out we've lived in the same village or the same county in England since 1170.
Oh, no
I know.
Way.
Yeah. So middle of England, industrial, kind of quite high unemployment where I'm from, farming community. There's a glue factory. My dad was a bus driver. My mum ran pubs.
Yeah, nice.
But from the middle of England, from way back. But I've lived here nearly 20 years, which is why I've got this odd, whatever that is. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, you've got a good blend of UK, Kiwi accent.
Yeah.
So what was life like for you growing up, and especially, how did it shape your view on money and what you're doing today?
Yeah, it's weird, right? As you get older, so I'm 44 now, and
only young.
It's 44 young, bloody great, awesome. So as you get older, your perspective on what your childhood gave you changes. Because I remember when I was in my 20s, and I started living in New Zealand when I was 25, and I remember writing, and I've never said this before, but I remember writing my mum a really angry letter about my childhood. I think I'd just had Toby, who's now 16, so I'd probably got a bit of postnatal depression or something, but I was really bloody angry about my childhood and how awful it was, and like that, and I wrote this really angry letter in 2006.
As in, it wasn't
It wasn't good enough.
Yep.
You were never around.
Gotcha.
My mum and dad were always splitting up and getting back together, all of this stuff. And I was so bloody angry about it, right? So that was my 25-year-old self context around my childhood. But now my perspective's completely different. So my childhood was a bit up and down, but I had an amazing family that looked after me. So I was at my granny and granddad's farm on the weekends, and we baked cakes, and my granny played little memory games with me and told me about the war, and my nanny lived in the village down the road, and she would bake this soup with, I was going to say shitloads, well I did say it anyway, loads of celery in it, but it's the smell's still there. So we did have turbulent times. But I had this really lovely support network of strong women around me. So my nan, my granny, and my auntie Jean, they were powerful people in my brain now. Yeah. At the same time as my dad started a bus company after being a bus driver. So he was pretty entrepreneurial.
Okay.
So he started the bus company, and it was a way of kind of digging ourselves out of our circumstance, I guess. And at the same time, my mum had been promoted to the bar manager at the pub she was at. Right, so they were doing all right. But then Grandad that had the farm, he died like that one day.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So everything seemed like it was all right. Grandad died, and this one bad thing, and I think that's where this good people, bad things happen, right?
Yes.
This one bad thing that happened meant that the cows on the farm, they need milking. Right. So what did my dad go do? He went to milk the cows with his brother. What did the bus company do? went bankrupt. We hid away from the debt collectors. So it was kind of like one life event can make everything just go,
There's a flow-on effect. Yeah, wow.
And I've talked about it before, but I keep saying it because it's the truth. My dad's now nearly 70. He still lives in a council flat with no curtains. And I think, I really think that loss of his business, he lost his sense of self, like his entrepreneurial spirit, I think, died. Yeah. And I don't think he ever recovered. And it's almost like he doesn't believe he's worth anything more, even though I know he's like an incredibly bright, clever man who was always a bit of a hustler. My entire dad's side of my family are hustlers. Like, in fact, my mum was too. But it died in that moment, you know.
It's that kind of creative side within you, has to go and do this other thing to meet, or pay the bills, put food on the table and do what you have to do.
Yep.
Which in a way is a really kind of honourable thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looking after your family is like the most important thing you can do.
Yeah.
Whether it be through a business or through a job or, going to milk cows, which is probably not your dream, but it's
what had to happen, right?
Yeah.
But so these kind of bad things that can happen in life, they shouldn't define your life. But I think sometimes they really do.
Yeah.
So how do we create places where bad things can happen and we and support people through it rather than it becoming this defining moment that you never get out of?
That's right. And so how did you get into finance? What's the
Oh, no.
Was there a career pathway?
Oh, it was documented. No, it wasn't at all. So I'm actually a musician. Yeah, I'm a classical musician. And I know, you'd never believe it. Right? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks. But
what instrument?
Piano, flute and classical singing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
we have a mic.
This podcast went way down then. We'll do a musical. Okay, drum
next time.
Triangle. So I was always really creative, kind of had this natural talent, whatever you want to call it, for musical type stuff. Cool. A bit flamboyant. I've always looked a bit odd, happily so. But my mum said to me, don't ever use the thing you're most passionate about to put bread on the table. And at the time I was most passionate about music. So she said, you should be an accountant because then you'll be rich. And I remember I was about 16, 17.
Wow.
Yeah. She's like, you'll be rich. And at the same time she's
dead serious about that.
Completely dead serious.
Yeah, wow.
Because she was a bookkeeper as well as running pubs. And I think when she was in her 20s, she'd been offered a job in Ireland and she didn't take it because I think she'd met my dad. So it was almost like she knows that she could have had another life. So there's a bit of you should go have the life that I could have had type piece. And I was pretty smart at school for some things, not everything, but some things I got this like innate ability. Cool. So I had to pick between music and accounting. And I didn't like upsetting my mum ever. So I decided that, cool, I'll go do this accounting thing. And ended up being offered a place at uni to do accounting. So exciting. And the course started in October and I lasted till December.
Oh, no.
And I am the first person in our family on my mum's side to ever go to uni.
Yeah.
Like we're working class beneficiary type peeps.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to Mum, I'm sorry, I cannot do this. Because I'm really good at learning if I chat to people. I am terrible if you get me to like read a book and look out of a window. Like I'm rubbish. Yeah. So I was failing miserably. I was miserable. And I dropped out, within 3 months. But I just knew I'd be all right.
Yeah.
Like that's what my mum instilled in me was that I'll figure it out. My mum was well annoyed. She was like, you're going to end up working in a pub forever. That's basically how she looked, just like that. But I'm like, no, I'll be all right, Mum. Yeah. And I was determined to prove to her that I would be all right. And I landed a trainee accounting job a few weeks later, because in England you can train to be an accountant without having a degree.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. And then a few years later.
Yeah, that's quite from New Zealand perspective, that's quite different.
Like having different pathways to get to the same outcome because we all learn differently. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought an education system that acknowledges that we're all a bit different? Oh! Anyway, that's another podcast.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It would be nice, wouldn't it? But I think, so I did get a job. I did kind of day release training as an accountant. And I was then one of the first non-graduate hires at KPMG.
Oh, wow.
So KPMG acknowledged way back in 2000 this was.
So one of the big
four accounting firms. Yep. And that's how I got to New Zealand, was with KPMG.
Wow,
so that's how I got into finance. I kind of fell into it thinking that I'd be rich if I became an accountant. It's not true. You make other people rich if you're an accountant.
Yes, you do.
Not yourself. You do. But it was never, for me, it was never about the numbers and it was all about understanding the business and what motivated people to be in business. And it's all about the people.
That's what I enjoy about seeing behind the scenes of businesses and how different entrepreneurs and good business operators make decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, awesome. So KPMG, what was after?
So KPMG...
and why'd you leave them? Because they're the firm that a lot of people want to work for.
They are, yeah. And I still say that, like, if you chop my arm off, I'd still be blue, which is the KPMG brand colour. Why did I leave them? Well, I came across to New Zealand with KPMG on secondment. So by then, I was one of the youngest managers in KPMG globally, I think, at that time, and helped to set up their forensic practice. So I was a forensic accountant. So I used to do disputes and stuff and fraud investigations.
Forensic. So what does that mean?
Forensic accounting is the most detailed accounting you could ever do. A forensic accountant gets called in if you're in a dispute and you're trying to figure out how much money you've lost, or if you're going to court to defend how much money you've lost and you want to win, or investigates fraud. So I investigated frauds and stuff as well. Really interesting, like the psychology of humans, right?
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
But, it was about the bad people rather than the good people, so it's a bit depressing. So I left KPMG because I got poached by another Big Four accounting firm to do the same thing, EY, Ernst Young. Yeah. But I only lasted there about a year. And then I ended up working at the Serious Fraud Office as a forensic accountant. Yeah. So, but that nearly broke me.
Why is that?
Well, when you come at life from a place of the goodness of people, people's potential, having empathy for individual stories, it's how I've always been ever since I was a little girl. Going to work every day, 40 hours a week, and listening to the most awful allegations of fraud that have harmed families, and for a living being lied to. Like when you interview people and all they do, not all of them, but a lot of them would just be lying. Like that, like from a spiritual, energetic, whatever that is, whatever you believe in, I was like, ugh. And it would weigh heavy as.
It would just eat at your soul, wouldn't it?
It did eat at my soul. And I think I was 29 by this point, and I had a nervous breakdown at the Serious Fraud Office. Like lots of things came to a point all at once. I was miserable at work and just depleted. And I was married at the time to Toby's dad, and we'd come across to New Zealand together, and that wasn't going that well either. Okay. And I just lost it. Yeah. Completely lost it and ended up on medical leave, completely lost my sense of self, like what I stood for, didn't want to be here anymore, genuinely thought that Toby would be better off without me, didn't see a way out. And I'm normally quite like...
Yeah. That's not where you live, right?
That's not my normal place, but it's where I lived for a long time.
Wow.
So having a nervous breakdown when you're in law enforcement is a difficult place to be.
Crazy. Did you get any, or were they supportive, or the?
Yeah, they were. I mean, I think it was difficult for them to know what to do with me, because the team at the time was really small. So I was having a big impact by not being there. And it's not like when you've got a broken leg and they go, "Oh, it takes 6 weeks to heal. All right, we'll see you in 6 weeks." This was kind of a bit of a uncertain path, right? So they were supportive, and I did go back to work. But what's this? Maybe 15 years ago now, so I guess there's been enough time. It wasn't the same afterwards. It's like I'd been tarnished with she's a bit of a mental case brush.
Gotcha.
So it was like, if I ever had a bad day, it was assumed that it was because of my mental illness.
And you're not allowed to do that anymore. Like you were saying, a broken leg, once it's fixed, you should be fine by now.
Yeah.
That's always.
Yeah. So it was like they couldn't move on, even though I'd got better and I'd done all the things I needed to do to support myself. And I was really lucky with the level of support I got. So then I ended up, I actually got shoulder tapped for a job at Auckland Council.
Oh, wow.
After that.
Wow.
It's this weird meandering journey that means that Sweetspot exists, really, and that's what I've reflected on. So at Auckland Council, I did lots of different jobs. I was ethics and integrity manager.
Oh, wow.
I was on the IT lead team. I did a senior management role all around their project management office and all sorts of bits and bobs. I did bribery, corruption investigations, big portfolio management for hundreds of millions of dollars, just lots of different things. So I loved working there because I was exposed to so many different areas of that massive organisation that when I got shoulder tapped again for a job, which was the head of ops for this finance company that I mentioned right at the start, I was really well suited for it. Yeah. And if I hadn't done all of the steps,
interesting,
I wouldn't have got the thing.
Yeah.
So I really believe in kind of just going with it and flowing and saying yes to the opportunities because, 44 years. Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're learning in that first or second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th job, whatever job it is, that will help you to where you are today, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because while this podcast is about money, is about business, I talk a lot about wealth in it, and your mental health is, to me, when you're well mentally, is you are well and you are wealthy. Yeah. So in that place that you were when you weren't mentally in a good place, what would you say to someone who's in that place and wants to or needs to get help or what advice would you give to them?
Well, it's the advice I still give to myself now because I'm still not a robot. I still go up and down and left and right, especially in this entrepreneurial journey of business ownership. Yes. I'm like, sometimes I'm not I'm not bouncy Sasha all of the time, right? Yeah. So I've got a few things.
Like the entrepreneurial journey is crazy, right? It's up, it's down.
Bonkers.
You're on the top of the hill and then you're in the deepest valley, right?
Yeah. So I've got a few things that I say to myself still now. The first is this is temporary. Don't make a permanent decision for a temporary situation. It's temporary.
I love that.
So that's my first. And the second thing is
because you feel like it can. This is me. This is me forever.
Forever. This is my life. Like, no, it's temporary. So just always remind yourself it's temporary. And the second thing is baby steps. So what's the smallest step I can make vaguely in the right direction? And that could be brushing my teeth one day. Like the baby step's different depending on how you are. Sometimes it can be, I'm going to take over the world today. Thanks very much. That's my baby step because I am on fire. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, I might brush my teeth today. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Yes. I'm still moving.
I'm still moving. Whatever the thing is.
Well, not even forward. I'm moving.
Yeah. I'm breathing. Like, and that's all right.
Some days it is like that, right?
Some days it is like that. And knowing that's okay. Yeah. So those are the two things that I still use.
Cool.
Religiously,
And what was the thing like that made you, or how did you get this idea of Money Sweetspot? So
how I got the idea of Money Sweetspot was this, I sound like a bloody crazy woman. Literally, well, I clearly am a crazy woman, so it's fine. So how I actually got the idea was driving over the Harbour Bridge in October 2019 after a choir rehearsal. So it was at 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow. I was
driving over the Harbour Bridge and I had this matrix moment, which makes me sound bonkers, where all of these like pieces of my puzzle came together about my life's journey and every job I'd ever had. And what I realised was that kind of all of these reasons why I got so emotional at work about what was happening for people and how judgmental the system was, all of these things, job losses, mental illness, addiction, businesses going bankrupt. The reason I got so affected was because they were the stories of my own family. And that when I linked my work world with my own personal family and like generations of stuff, when I realized that it wasn't just work, it was personal, that's when I realized I had to do something about it. And I drove over the Harbour Bridge, realized that. And the next day at work, I drew a picture out that I've still got. It was actually, I put it on LinkedIn a few weeks ago. Seen the picture. Yes. So that was my picture.
Wow.
And that's when I wrote the vision for what Sweetspot could be. And I put that on LinkedIn a few weeks ago as well. And that's the truth. Like, hands down, I was like, how do we create, Money Sweetspot will be a financial inclusion movement that brings the human back to the center, where your story is of value.
That's
like,
so
what
good.
does that look like?
So good.
And once I knew that, I started beavering away. My employer at the time knew I'd had this idea. I was probably kind of in my last chapter at that place anyway.
Gotcha.
I'd pushed that organization as far as I could around what I thought a finance company needed to be. So over the next 5 months, we kind of created me a pathway to leave.
If you're serious about buying your first home, make sure you check out the First Home Buyers Masterclass. In this masterclass, we take you through the whole home buying journey, from getting pre-approved, finding your property, to settling. This will take out a lot of the confusion and make your home buying journey a lot easier. Make sure you check out the link below for our masterclass. Yeah, I was going to say, what's for people who are in their jobs and they have this idea, what is an ideal pathway? Because timing isn't perfect for everyone, but what should or could you do to prepare yourself for leaving your corporate role or whatever it is?
And I mean, I think that like I acknowledge that me being able to even leave my corporate role was a privilege, and it's not something that everybody has. Yeah. So I think that there's, there are lots of ways of doing both, having the side hustle, testing things first. So in my way, I did lots of research to figure out whether this could even be a thing. Nice. I applied to a thing called the Edmund Hillary Fellowship at the time, because that community is really important to me. And if I was leaving a job, well, I needed to explain to my family what leaving a job was, and that wasn't completely mad. So I needed a thing to go to. So I applied to this fellowship, which was all about impact entrepreneurs and investors wanting to change the world. So for me, it was about finding a community outside of the job that I could connect in with. That was important to me. What could I do whilst I was still in my job to research this idea? Who else was doing it? What could be the types of things I want to think about? And then the truth of it for me was that I'm a bit extra as a human. Like, I'm quite all in, right? I'm a bit extra. And a couple of years before, I'd had an operation on my spine. Oh. I was working out at the gym and popped a disc out. And because I'm really extra, I then didn't recuperate after that operation. So I actually needed another spine operation. So I'd had the idea in October 2019, and I needed to get my spine fused. No so way. What I did is I timelined leaving the finance company with the spinal fusion, because it felt like a real chapter end. Yeah. And no, you're going to sit and you're going to nourish and you're going to listen to your body, and you're going to, you need to create spaces for opportunities to come into. And if you never create space in your life, you're just on this bloody hamster wheel, right? That's right. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be leaving my job March 2020 at the same time as this spine operation. I can't do anything other than sit on my ass for a while. That'll make me stop. And then a global pandemic happened, which really helped me to sit on my ass. Like, the entire world stopped. Everyone stopped. Yeah. My husband did joke at the time. It's like manifesting a global pandemic, Sasha. That was a little bit too far. Like, if you could just a bit extra. Bit extra. Yeah. So I guess I did a bit of prep. I was in a position where I was a shareholder at the old finance company. Okay. Yeah. So I could get a bit of money that way. And then I created up a consulting business. So at the time, providing kind of consulting just to get a little bit of money still coming in, give me a bit of a buffer whilst I could do this.
That's really clever.
Yeah. So that was that was the plan.
Yeah.
That was the plan. But what was interesting, and I think I'd had this idea, and what I didn't realize when I left the corporate job, I didn't realize how much of my own identity was attached to having a job title at a place. So the surprise for me when I left the corporate job was, who am I? Why would anybody listen to me? Like, they won't talk to me now because I don't have a job title. I'm just little old Sasha. It's a little bit like when you have a kid, right? You become like, I was Toby's mum. I wasn't Sasha anymore. I was Toby's mum.
True.
So it felt a little bit like that. So I didn't really know my place for a while. Yeah. And I got quiet, really. And I'm glad I did, because it meant I listened more.
Yeah.
I didn't try and solve straight away. Because
that's the temptation, is to try and figure it out fast.
Just go fix it.
Because I've got this thing I need to do.
Yeah. So I had the gift of time and space and listening.
Yeah.
And the sweet spot that exists now is different to the sweet spot I would have created then. So I think that, back to this kind of meandering journey, giving it space was exactly what needed to happen.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's funny you say, like, when you're at a corporate role for so long, you can't help but be this person from this organization. And it's the weight of the organization that gives you a sense of authority or, presence when you turn up or rock up. They know who I am. They know what I'm about. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to pitch. You don't have to do a lot of things that you have to do now as an entrepreneur starting up a business. You almost, you're selling to everyone, right? You're selling to your family. You're pitching your family. What are you doing? Oh, it's this idea. Do it. Investors, it's this idea. Customers, this idea. You're always selling to a certain extent.
And I think when you first got an idea as well, you're pitching a thing, but you're sense checking at the same time. And I think trying to figure out who to listen to rather than listening to everybody, because you'll get lots of advice when you have a business idea, right?
Yeah.
And you can spin yourself into a bit of a knot if you listen to everybody. And I think I spun myself into a bit of a knot at the start. And in fact, not even at the start, I did a few weeks ago as well. I spun myself into a knot. So it doesn't go away, but it's kind of...
but you probably get better at
I think you get better at navigating it and curating or deciding who you really want to listen to. Because there are people that think Sweet Spot's mad.
Really?
That, completely. They think we're a bit crazy, or it'll never work, or whatever. And I could spend lots of time figuring out what it really is that they think. Like I could do that, but I'd rather spend the time with the investors and the customers and the funders and the iwi that kind of go, no, we get this. We know it's not like black and white to understand, but we this is still the right path.
Yeah, cool. So you've had the idea. Mm-hmm. How do you go about putting it in or like making it happen?
I don't know. I've got no idea. Oh my God.
And that's actually quite a truthful answer.
It's so true.
And in a way, everyone's kind of making it up.
I'm still making it up. Every day's a learning day. And how did we even...
so how did you...
I'm just trying
Did you get investors? Did you have your own cash or...
Yeah, so I had a bit of my own money that just meant that I'd got capacity to be able to think without having to earn to pay my mortgage, right? So I did lots of kind of time research. Yeah. But we did need to raise money for Sweetspot, like setting up a new finance company, as you'll know, the compliance, the legal,
crazy, isn't it?
Systems, tech, all of the things.
Yep.
So we went about trying to find some investors, our first kind of pre-seed investors. Yep. But we also knew that we were...
So pre-seed is the very start, eh?
The very start, kind of the bit to get you going.
Yep.
Normally it could come from friends and family, but we went to impact investors.
Awesome.
So depending on what your idea is, if it's not a business that needs lots of money to start, then you could go around your friends and family for your pre-seed.
Yep.
But finance companies a bit more. So we went to impact investors because we've got this social lending purpose. We're not like going to be like take over the world and become a unicorn and we're all going to be billionaires living in the Caymans. Mind you, that sounds quite nice. Sounds a bit easier than doing what you do, right? Yep. Somebody actually said to me a few weeks ago that if you label yourself as a social entrepreneur, you're picking all of the hards, right? Because if you were purely going to start a business to make lots of money, there are metrics for that.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're purely starting a something to be philanthropic, there are metrics for that. But if you're in the middle, you've got to deliver to all of those metrics equally to be successful. Because you're doing impact, systems change, and delivering on some. So there's social
and profit.
And profit, because you've still got to sustain yourself, because you're like, I'm not a charity. I want to sustain myself. You're making the right amount of money. So it becomes like this ridiculous thing. So we went out to try and raise some money. But you can imagine the pitch at the time, right? And it went something like, we want to help people that are seen as risky in this lending system. And we don't want to make lots of money out of them. And we want to give them more money off their loans if they do education. And we don't want to keep them as a customer. We want to lose them. Can you give us some money, please? It's like, why would anybody? Like, because it's not the normal narrative.
Yeah, because investing typically requires a return in the future. That's why I'm putting in. Otherwise, I would just go and spend it.
I know. But, quite like a good story and a good yarn. So we managed to get some money in.
Yeah, awesome.
Because we found investors that really cared about changing this financial system.
Yeah, cool.
And we were able to explain that it was about increasing access to people that were seen as high risk, that were the most motivated New Zealanders that wanted to get out of debt. So where do we find the New Zealanders that want to get out of debt, that care about education? Yep. We're not helping everybody. We're helping a particular... Yeah,
that's great.
The most motivated New Zealanders are the people that we really want to help. So we raised $1.5 million.
Yeah, wow.
Back in 2022.
That is amazing, right?
Yeah.
In a pre-seed?
Pre-seed amazingness. Yes. Because I was new to all of this. Like I'm not a serial entrepreneur. All of this language, doing all of this capital raising stuff is not me. I didn't know any of this language. So now when I tell the story now, and they're like, wow, that was amazing. I'm like, was it? It was just the amount of money we needed. I mean, I didn't really think about it at the time. It was just a spreadsheet. 1.5 million.
That is epic.
Yeah. So we raised that to build the thing. And then at the same time, BNZ came alongside us to give loan. They gave us $3 million worth of loan capital to lend, test with the loan. Because as a lender, you need both. You need to be able to build the thing and give people loans. Yep. So once we'd got those two things, that was in the July 2022. We could go, and we launched in December 2022.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. And the launch went well, I'm guessing?
The launch went really well. We did it quietly.
How many? Also, it was quiet launch.
Quiet launch, because we were odd. We're trying to do this financial reset, this education. We didn't know whether the product would resonate, the loan would be useful to people. We had no idea if people would do the education. It was a complete experiment. Didn't know how to price it from an interest rate piece, thinking about
what interest rate you're going to charge them. Yep.
No idea. So we launched quietly in Hamilton in December. And it went really well between December and September of that year. It kind of went like a hockey stick.
Wow.
And BNZ kept coming to the table with additional loan capital. So we've now got $10 million worth of loan capital funding from BNZ, and then we've got $8.5 million with impact investors. So we've got $18.5 million we can lend now to families wanting to get out of debt, which is amazing. Yeah. So it did go well, and thankfully, like my entrepreneurial hunch about if you take a risk on people and believe in them, then they'll believe in themselves and they'll do good.
Yes.
Like that played out.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Awesome.
Can you imagine? This was a terrible mistake. I'm sorry. I've given all your money away. It's all gone.
I got that one wrong. Yeah.
Oops, sorry. I think I would have had to move to Australia or something. So it played off, and we had some really good engagement in the financial wellbeing and the education. Amazing feedback around our. Are
there any stories that stand out?
Oh, there's a heap of stories.
I bet.
So, one of our first customers was actually a financial mentor.
Oh, wow.
Because bad things happen to everybody, including financial mentors. So they'd had a relationship situation. So the reason this is a good story is because she was one of our first customers, and she tested the hell out of our financial education to really help us to understand this journey and like, no, it's wrong. And she paid off her loan within 9 months.
Wow.
And the people that we help may have been in debt for 10 years. So to be able to pay something off in 9 months is amazing.
That's insane.
Yeah. And then there's this young lad, I say young lad, he's in his late 20s, who wrote a 5-page story of his financial reset when he'd paid it off. And he explained to us that nobody in his family knew that he'd got into this debt. And he didn't realise that it was affecting how he was performing at work. His girlfriend didn't know. It was, and they were talking about the future and whether to have a family and if they were going to buy a house or whatever. And he got this dirty secret, right, of this debt. And the reset journey for him was a process of being vulnerable with his girlfriend and his family. And they moved back in with, I think it was his family, sorted all the debt out, smashed it out of the park, got rid of it really quickly.
Insane.
And now he said in his feedback, he was like, I can imagine having children now. I'm now thinking about a future and I'm performing better at work, So
That's
like,
amazing.
if you provide a place for people to breathe and you support them, then they're able to create their own goals. Yeah. It's not about us telling anybody. Yeah. It's like, give space and give support. Yeah. Because I think sometimes we believe in the people we help before they believe in themselves, because they have been judged and they have been smacked around the head.
Once there's a mark on that credit report, right?
Whereas we listen to the story, like, what's gone on, mate? Like, your credit score's shit. What happened? And they're like, well, actually, I had to relocate down to Auckland and then I left a bill and I forgot. And, my partner and I, we broke up, and then the kids and then the bib and a death and the fat. So the score goes down just because life happened. Yeah. So create places where you can be supported. It's not that, it's logical, right?
That's right.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah. How big is, you were saying he was kind of embarrassed and ashamed. Like how much of a factor is being embarrassed, being ashamed, impact your kind of financial awareness, your financial ability?
Huge. There's some research out there that that says something like your IQ actually goes down by the level of financial stress you're under. So literally your ability to life.
Wow.
Yeah, your IQ goes down.
Make decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, your cognitive load, because if you're sat up here and you're stressed all the time, you've got like this much to think, plan, dream, whatever that is there. So if you can reduce down that stress level, reduce down the shame because maybe you've connected with somebody that you feel heard, then that all reduces down that, and then you've got more capacity to think, dream, learn, engage in education, So the power of giving people breathing space. So that's why at the start of the journey.
So that's what you mean by breathing space, allowing people to talk about it. Yeah.
Feel. We talk about empathy at scale.
Yeah.
Like, how do you create a business that has empathy at scale?
Yeah.
We listen to your story and we see you. Yeah. We're not going to judge you because of your story. We see you. So when people come through to us, the cost of the debt immediately goes down, and that's a financial breathing space at the same time as they'll have felt heard around the story. So there's two ways of breathing there, kind of from a emotional and a financial perspective at the start. And then it's about
that's so good.
People believing us throughout this kind of 4-year journey that we're on with them, because people are with us for kind of 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Is that
the average?
The average loan term's 3 or 4 years, but we've had lots of people pay it off early.
Yeah.
Because if you do the education, you get the extra money off, so you can get out of debt early. So most people get out of debt early. Yeah. Which is cool, right?
Take me through a rough process of so I rock up to your website.
Rock up to the website. Yep. Apply for the loan. So we have to compete with all the other lenders out there, right? Because we, the people that we help have already got debt, so they've already applied for loans elsewhere, so they understand the process. So the process feels the same. So that there's like a level of comfort in, oh no, I've been here before. It's all right. Okay, I've got this. So fill out loan application online.
Yep.
Disclose your debts. Click a button. Spits it off for a credit report. We get a copy of spending analysis. And then you'll get a phone call from Letitia, normally in our team,
Nice.
who will talk through your application. And then we talk about your motivation to be out of debt. So in our application form, the one thing that's really different is we talk about your motivation to be out of debt.
Nice.
What difference will this make for your family?
Yeah.
And that's actually a question that is bigger than you would think around whether we're able to help you or not, because we're not the place for people that are wanting fast cash. Like, you have to be ready to get out of debt. We're not able to help people that are happy to stay in debt forever. Like, we're not the place for those people, because this is work, especially at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Paying off debt rather than relying on it is hard work. So so people apply, and then we repay all of the existing debt directly.
Sure. Yep. So you
bundle it all up,
a loan, and you pay back everything else. And then this is the loan. This is just purely with you guys.
Exactly. Yep. And then we've got a customer portal that's got all our financial wellbeing stuff in.
Nice.
So you go in there and you can click on bits of education, and you earn some points, and that gives you money off your loan.
Gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like the play. Like, that sounds too easy.
I don't know whether it's still work, right? It's still work.
Yeah, true.
Like, people have to choose to go in and do the work, else they don't earn the points and they don't get the extra off the loan. So they might have had a bit of a saving on the interest rate. But if you don't do the work, you still end up with a loan at a slightly lower interest rate, and that's it, So
what kind of interest rates do you guys provide without?
So our average interest rate now is 16.
Oh, cool.
And most people we're helping have been paying over 30.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's a decent kicker of a saving.
Almost half.
Almost half, yeah. Lowest interest rate at the moment, I think, is 13.
Yeah.
Cool. So, and about between 40 and 50% of our customers do the financial wellbeing. So that's the key focus for the next year, is to how do we increase the level of engagement in that. So we're getting some feedback at the moment about how we can help people more.
Yeah. Because that education piece is, I think it's just, like, it's massive, right?
Yeah.
Because it gives you that, once you've done the education, you've got that for life.
Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere, right?
Yeah. And you get to spread that wealth of knowledge with your family, your friends.
Yeah. Well, it's like, if you don't know the rules of the game, you can't play it properly.
Yeah.
So let's help people understand the rules of the game.
Yeah.
And brand you financially. Like, what's your brand? Like, how do you want to be seen for whatever your goals are? Like, let's help you play the game.
Yeah. Like my parents come over from Samoa. It's a totally different way of living there. Like, and they did not know the rules of the game in New Zealand, how financial systems worked, because they're used to living off the land. They didn't have to save anything. They would, if they needed food, they would go to the plantation. If they needed fish or more food, they would go to the ocean. Yeah. And if they saved stuff, it would go rotten.
So
so they
live in the moment.
Have those habits of saving for a rainy day, because it rained there, but it was hot. You could still go fishing in the rain. You could still go to the plantation. Yeah. So that saying, saving for a rainy day, didn't really exist.
Doesn't resonate.
Nah. So that's what. Yeah. So them understanding the rules here is a whole new ball game for them, and that's why where I see them is like they don't understand the rules of the game. Yeah, completely. It's interesting. Like, a few years ago, I went to talk to a financial mentor service, serving the Pacifica community, and my concern, and this might be a bit controversial, but I'm just going to say it how it was. When I spoke to this service, what they said to me was, can our people, can they apply for more debt than they need? And I'm like, okay, help me understand why. Yeah. I'm like, well, then they can put it into a savings account. And I'm like, what? I'm like, well, yeah, because then if something bad happens, then they've got money for the emergency. I'm like, so you're recommending to your community that you pay 15% interest on a loan on extra debt so that you can have money in a savings account earning 0 just in case. Yeah. So I think that one of the things I'm really passionate about is making sure that the rules of the game are really clear and consistent
and that we don't unintentionally cause harm.
Yeah. Because even that scenario, I've heard that a lot as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you actually need to stand the full rules of the game, because borrowing to put in a savings account, it's actually costing you.
And I understand, like, I get why they said that.
Yeah. It's kind of the emergency fund principle. But
like, my argument is that if you've got, like, for some of our families, say they're paying $2,000 a month in their loan repayments, right, before they come to us.
Yeah.
When they come to us, it might go down to, say, $1,000 a month, right? The $1,000 you're not paying in debt anymore, that goes in the savings account straight away, because your loan repayments in that month have come down. That's how you create emergency savings. You don't borrow more than you needed to then put in the savings account. You use the money that you're saving by not paying as much off on your debt, right? So I think that's been one of my big learnings and listenings. We've been spending a bit of time with the Filipino community and understanding kind of the context there
there's
as
nuances, because everyone has cultural differences and understanding financial terms and background.
And I think, family obligations back home, wherever home is, it could be, I mean, I've got them in the UK as, and people in the Philippines and the islands and stuff, and understanding that. And I think sometimes where banks and finance companies go wrong is that they have their own lens about what's optional or discretionary. And I think we need to stop that, because some things about supporting family overseas, that's not optional. That's a core part of who we are as people.
That's right. Yeah, cool. So what's the big dream, the vision, the 5-10-year plan for Money Sweetspot? Is there one?
Well, there always is one, right? So the big thing is this new line that we've got is that we want to create the best place in the world to get out of debt.
Cool.
The little words after that are regardless of whether you've got a loan with us. Because for us, it's not. One of the things I hated in my old job was it was all about being a $2 billion business, we need to be the biggest. We never need to be the biggest. So our job in New Zealand is to unlock capital. And what I mean by that is that our big goal is that we help places like iwi who have their own money to lend to their own communities to do that. So we will help unlock that for them, because lending can feel hard, it can feel tricky, the regulations, all of the things, right? Yep. So how can we facilitate lending innovation, new products that come to market that are more helpful to New Zealanders? So we're working with an iwi at the moment around creating lending products for their own tribal members. So we'll do that as a service on their behalf, rather than it being about Sweetspot becoming this bigger and bigger lender.
I see.
We'll help them to do that. Instead. So that's one of the things that we're doing. And then the second thing that we're doing is across New Zealand, people don't really understand whether they're ready. And ready can be ready for home ownership. Ready can be to reset the debt. So at Sweetspot, we're wanting to create the best game of debt in the world, help you to understand the rules of the game. So how we do that is we partner with organisations around customer and employee wellbeing, purely from a debt perspective. If debt's holding the business back, if debt's holding employees back, causing financial stress. So that's what we're going to do as well, because then we've got a loan product that helps people. We've unlocked lots of capital here for new lending products. And in the middle, we've helped people to understand the rules of the game of debt.
Yeah, nice.
So those are the three things that we'll do now.
Wow. Which ones? We're working on all those now.
All those now.
All at one go.
All in one go.
Nice.
All in one go.
Why not?
Well, why not, right? And I think we just come off the Creative HQ FinTech Accelerator, so that finished last week. And I remember when we started that accelerator in the January, you had to do like a little pitch, and I quite like chatting, so I'm like, this is what we're going to do. And the feedback was, be bigger. Like, because I think, we kind of, or I do, I cower and go, who are we to? I'll just be down here. Let's not have a bigger.
Excuse me. Can
I apologise for existing now. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, we're just going to be the best place in the world to get out of debt.
Awesome.
Right? So, and that's what we will do. And we'll do that by partnerships, by unlocking capital with iwi, and potentially other fintechs, because there are some great fintechs out there, but even those fintechs don't really want to be a lender, so how can we help them to lend as well? So those are the that's the role that I think we play is all in the lending space.
Yeah, awesome. And what's the big vision for yourself? Your own personal vision and goals?
Like the truth. The truth was like survival. That's what came into my head. I'm like, survival. I just want to keep breathing. Honest, that's the truth. Like, I'm not,
it is.
It's just, it's quite a lot at the moment. If I'm like, this is difficult, like really difficult, and I can't be doing anything else. Like, this is my life's purpose, and come hell or high water.
How hard is it?
So hard. Like if you talk to my friends and my husband, they will be like, "Oh, Sasha, she's got this massive capacity for lots of things."
She's fine.
And I have. I'm like, I love chaos. I'm ADHD to the max. Like but this is a lot. Like when you've got an economy in flux, right, at the moment, and you see this painful awfulness, and you're trying to do a new business model that isn't philanthropy, and it's not,
hasn't been seen before.
It's all of the hards. So the big vision for me is that I can continue to be of service. Like, serving is really important to me. Serving, unlocking. It's not about Sweetspot as a brand. It's about how we can unlock, facilitate, make things better.
Yeah, great.
Reduce down barriers. And Sweetspot in 10 years will be whatever it needed to be, because we'll have listened and created something that's needed. What's the sweet spot that didn't exist that unlocks everything else? That's why we're called Sweetspot.
Yes.
Like, what's the thing that needs to exist? And that's what it will be.
Cool.
Whatever that happens to be. Because I never really wanted to displace good people doing good things. So it's always about, for us, trying to find the thing that doesn't exist. And to start off with, it was digital lending, social lending, financial education and wellbeing. And that's still the thing. But we'll see what happens in the future. Yeah. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Awesome. Where can people find Money Sweetspot?
We're all over the socials and all the normal places. So moneysweetspot.co.nz and on Insta, LinkedIn and Facebook as well. There's a great blog spot. Yeah, there's a great blog spot as well for financial wellbeing resources and stuff.
Awesome. Very cool. And my final question that I ask all my guests is, what does wealth mean to you?
Wealth, to me, means being able to breathe and spend time creating memories that last a lifetime with people I love.
That's awesome. Awesome. So cool. Sasha, thank you so much for coming on the Fresh Money podcast. It's been an amazing joy to have you here, and kind of, being real about starting a company, starting a business. Like, honestly, it looks like you're doing it easy, but obviously, it's
not.
From what I can see from the outside, because obviously I don't know, I'm not in your shoes and in the business. But I really hope that you reach all those goals, that your Money Sweetspot becomes the best
place in the world to get out of debt.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.